Alright, I finally did it. We finally got the fusor fully operational using the X-ray generator. Right here, I have a 240 volt split phase cable that I wired into a box here, and each outlet on the box is 120 volt. However, I cut the center tab on the outlet. That way I can have one plug be on one pole of the 240 and one on the other. So even though each plug is 120, they are 180 degrees out of phase with each other. So that's going to allow us to run the X-ray generator at full power. So let me put this back real quick. Alright, we are good. We're back in the 30 amp 240 driver outlet. So this here is Hubert. Inside of the chamber here we have some metal rings and that I got. They're craft rings actually. And those were welded and machined together by one of my buddies here on the channel, Dr. Dredmond. And the center electrode there is a spring out of a health drink mixer. Again, we power the outer cage to very high voltage DC and ground the center conductor, center electrode, and that gives us, under a vacuum, a nuclear fusion chamber. However, we're not using deuterium at the moment, so fusion reactions are little to none at this point, but you will be able to see what this thing's capable of. Next step will definitely be deuterium added. So if we want to come back here, call this hide the shame because it is pretty ugly back here, but here we have the vacuum pump that runs the chamber down to, it's got to be about below 75 microns in order to get the reactions we're seeing. And this is just a Vivor off of Amazon. I think it was a little over $100, and it's a very great vacuum pump. It's taken a lot of punishment, and it will work for the purposes of fusion as well as display like we do today. And here is the X-ray transformer. So this is taking the 240 volt in and turning it into, right here, I'm going to say 80,000 volts out. DC, of course. I'm going to go ahead and close this up. Get some locks for all this, and now I'll come over to the control stand. So here I have two variacs, 120 variacs, each one on a 180 degrees out of phase from each other. They are then feeding into these two microwave oven transformers, which I shorted their secondaries. Each hot is in series with the microwave oven transformer and the neon, not the neon side transformer, the X-ray generator. There's too many types of transformers. Microwave oven transformers on the hots in series with the X-ray generator limit the current as the current limiting ballasts. And then over here we have the pump that turns power, the switch that turns power onto the pump. And here we have the gauge and the relief valve for pressure in the chamber. So we're going to go ahead and turn that on, get the pressure rolling in the chamber, and we'll be right back. Alright, see here we have our pressure gauge. Now negative 29.92 is perfect vacuum, which again is against theoretical laws of physics, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle and whatnot. However, we have it as low as we can get it for now. I do need to purchase and install here a micron gauge, because a micron gauge will allow me to see exactly what it is. Whereas inches of mercury, it's cheap, but it's not letting me get the precise measurements I want to see. Regardless, we're down at the low enough pressure to start this hit now. So we'll give you a little, we'll go ahead and kill the lights. And cameraman, if you want to get some shots of the chamber, just kind of walk around it as I do this. And I'm going to be cranking up the voltage here right now. Power is on, voltage on both phases is climbing. that's full throttle. Let's bring it back down. It's nice and slow. There we are. Alright guys, and that is Hubert, the nuclear fusor. As you can see, our CPM, counts per minute, it never really went over. If we go here, history, it never really went over 19 counts per minute. So as far as x-rays and other radiation, we're not really too concerned with the radiation this thing's putting out at the moment. We're totally safe, and we are putting out, now I don't know if that's right, because now we're measuring about 20 and it says there's 19. We weren't measuring exactly we weren't getting a shot of this when we should have been, but regardless, that is Hubert. So I'm going to go ahead and vent the chamber. All the air is sucking back into the chamber. Alright guys, that is Hubert. Now that's almost finished project. One more thing I want to do is get the micron meter to get a better idea of exactly what vacuum I'm getting in there. I know I'm getting below about 75 microns because that's usually where you start seeing the ball of plasma happen. And of course I want to start supplying with deuterium. Luckily there is a gas supplier store in my town that sells deuterium. So once I get up some greed for that, I will go ahead and pipe it in, and we will see some live nuclear reactions right here on the channel. Thank you, and stay posted.